Okay, hey everyone, welcome back. Monday night. What happened today? Bitcoin was down in the red, down about 4%. At one point was 5%. At one point also. Miners, however, did a little bit better. They were up approximately 2, 3, 4, 5% even. So not all of them, but some of them did. The ones that are in AI mode right now. What else happened today? A bunch of news stories as well. Cipher is shedding their Alborz, Bear, and Chief joint venture sites to Canaan, of all companies. So it's kind of interesting there. We'll talk about that. Obviously, we'll talk about also, there's a story on IREN. There's a story on IBM, on, Anthropic, on XAI, Bitcoin itself, Sailor buying some more. There's a lot of stuff that we got to get through tonight, and we will, but we got to go through this as always. Right, you guys know this. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. It helps me out. Let's take a look at what happened today with Bitcoin here. And are we getting close to the bottom or not? Let's take a look here what we got going on. So Bitcoin today, obviously down quite a bit there. It was down 4.43%. It was down more than that. It was down like 5% at one point, 5% plus a little bit. Then bounced a little bit, but not much there. So this is, well, we are like the third and second lowest close here recently, at least, because obviously we got lower on Thursday, the 5th of February here, which we came down to a close of 62,791. Today we closed at 64,625, and now in the new day for Tuesday we're at 63,529 as it is. Markets were all in the red today as well. You had Dow Jones being down, NASDAQ being down, S&P along with Russell being down over 1% there. So today wasn't a great day for the markets. I think what's happening obviously in Mexico has an impact on that. Also the tensions with the United States and Iran is also playing into it also. Plus then you also on top of it have the Trump tariffs having a negative impact on everything here. But overall, today wasn't a great day in the markets, but still our BTC miners here actually did pretty good for the most part. Bitfarms was up a little bit, almost 0.5% there. Bitdeer was up 3%. Cango was actually down 6.95%. On that one, it was actually lower. It reached a new low of 78 cents today. We had Cipher being up 3.89%. Cleanspark was even up 1.76% today. Had a nice little bounce there. CORZ was actually down 2.37, along with Hive being down 0.47. Hut 8 was up a little bit, 0.39. And then IREN, for some reason today, was up 5.95%. Having a nice little bounce there. Not sure why. Maybe because, I don't know, maybe we're getting close to a deal happening there. We'll see if this continues to rally upwards on no news here, really. They did provide some news update on the social media side of things. We'll take a look at it. I'm not going to play because last time I played one of their videos, I got a strike for copyright infringement because they have some music in the background there that's not public domain, I guess. Mara here was down today, 1.19%. Nibius was also up 2.75. Riot was down 0.19. And then Wolf was up 4.46. And for some reason, trading view is not loading. There we go. It's starting to load now. Bitcoin holding companies, all in the red except for GameStop there. MicroStrategy was down, or Strategy was down 5.6% today. So it's not at the bottom yet. The bottom here was $104 on it recently. Galaxy was down 4. Block was down also 4.6. Coin, everybody else was down. Biggest loser here was Meta Planet, it looks like. It was down 7.21%. Small miners were down in the red as well. Only one that was a gainer here today was Mawson, being up 0.66%. And then the Bitcoin miner ETFs here, we had WGMI being up 2.36%. That was mainly because it has a lot of those AI Bitcoin miner stocks. It's got a bunch of IREN, Cipher, Wolf as well, and others on top of it. So those did great. So that one did good today also. And then the Ethereum holding companies were in the red except for Digital was up a little bit, 1.22%. And then other companies that we track here as well, we had American Bitcoin being down another 2.53%. Let's see if this is a recent low for it. Got down to 94 cents here today. Closed at 97.5 roughly. Wi-Fi was up a little bit. Open was down 4.4. Oracle was down even 4.57% there. Soluna was down 2.02%. Backed was down 2.78. Est was down 9.69%. Where's this one at now? It's down to $7.36, it looks like. Yeah, that's the lowest it's been here as well. A lot of these guys are getting you 52-week lows on them, possibly. Fermi was down. Meta was down as well. Google, Amazon, Microsoft were all down. NVIDIA was actually up here. And Tesla was down, along with EOS was down. And then UAI was up 7.37% there. Okay, so that's kind of the way things shaped on today's markets. Now, looking at Bitcoin here for the month of February, we are down 19%. This has been the worst month that we've had here in the last 5 months. The prior months we were down 10% in January, down almost 3% in December. We're down 17.6% in November, and then 3% in change in October. So this is the worst that we've had here. Maybe this is finally the bottom happening for us. Don't know for a fact, but things kind of look to that being the case here. We might go down a little bit more, maybe touch the 60,000 mark again before we bounce there. Looking at the Bitcoin ETF inflows, outflows as well. Oops, what happened there? I hit something. What did I hit? I don't know. I hit spacebar, I think. Wanted to refresh the page. Let's see what we got going on here for today. Today we had, let's see, outflows of 87.4 million without BlackRock reporting there. And then going into the news stories that we do have here. First one is Bitcoin's back to its production cost. Historically, that's where the bottom tends to form here. Will it be the same this time around? Time will only tell, right? But we're definitely below that line there as it is right now. We've done that at least a couple times here on this chart, and you can see that it has historically worked as a bottom potentially for us here. There were times where we were actually even below it for some time, but we were going up at that point, even though the cost was rising here. Bitcoin was still below that production cost there, and then finally started to rally here. This was back in 2017, right, when this happened. We saw obviously the introduction of the S9 miners at that point. Those things were selling like hotcakes for Bitmain at that point, and that's why the production cost was rising on it at that time period as well. Okay, next here, Strategy has acquired another 592 Bitcoin for 39.8 million. This is their 100th buy here, I think. Their current stack is at 172022 is what they have acquired for 54.56 billion at roughly 76,000 per Bitcoin there on average. So that's good. They continue to buy, which is great. Then we have this also with Bitcoin being related here. So oldest Bitcoin whale just dumped 1.24 billion in Bitcoin. They survived every cycle since 2009, but sells here. Ask yourself why. Well, it could be for many reasons. It could be family reasons, could be other reasons, could be health reasons, could be whatever reasons. But it could also be that now the market is mature enough where it can handle that kind of liquidity happening in it. And, we've seen this in the past 6 months. We saw somebody else sell, it was like 8,000, 9,000 Bitcoin or something like that for a huge amount. So we are seeing that some of the old whales are getting out. They've made their money. They're moving on, right? And that's life-changing money for them, 1.24 billion. Heck, that's enough after taxes. Depending on your tax bracket, you could still walk away with about, 800 million or so, 700 to 800 million. That's life-changing. That's going to be enough for you, your kids, your grandkids, and if you do it right, you could sustain your whole family tree there for a long time. So, yeah, that's going to happen from time to time. Next year, Anthropic. There's obviously some news, at least on the interwebs, that DeepSeek is looking to put out their V4 of their AI model. And Anthropic here came out with a little jab at them. So Anthropic says, we've identified industrial scale distillation attacks on our models by DeepSeek, Moonshot AI, and Minimax. These labs created over 24,000 fraudulent accounts and generated over 16 million exchanges with Claude, extracting its capabilities to train and improve their own models. Right, that's going to happen from time to time as well, especially in China where they don't really have copyright laws and all those other things. So they do those types of things, and they will continue to do that as they try to compete in this AI space. And that's why it's really, really important for the U.S. to be the leader here, which we currently are. We're not too far ahead of them, but we are still ahead of them, which is nice. Sorry, I'm going to take a sip of my tea. My throat was getting dry. All right, next here, we have also this from Anthropic as well. So breaking, IBM stock down 13% after Anthropic announced that Claude can streamline COBOL code. IBM's entire business model, maintaining legacy COBOL, nobody understands. COBOL, and I have some history with COBOL. This is going back now probably 25 years or so. The company that I worked for, our server at that time and the application that we were running was built on COBOL. So I had a couple years of experience on that system. Nobody, I don't know if, legacy systems might still be running on COBOL, but with Anthropic announcing that it can streamline COBOL code, that's not a good thing for IBM. So that's obviously why we're seeing IBM stock down today. But Claude can now read it. IBM stock immediately dropped 13%, 40 billion market cap evaporated. Dario strikes again, right? It's just one software company after another are getting a hit because of AI. Brains, I guess you could say. They're able to do things even better. So we're going to see probably more of that happening as well as the time progresses. I think this is just an overreaction, to be honest, because some of those old legacy systems, they've been out there. I mean, you're still going to need somebody to service those things. Even if you're using AI to help you out, you're still going to need somebody to do those types of things. And IBM obviously does those things. So I think this is just an overreaction on it. Next here, we got XAI signs a Pentagon deal, Grok entering classified systems. So obviously the government's having a little feud with Anthropic there. But here's what we have. So Claude currently only a model available for sensitive military work. Anthropic insists on guardrails for military use. Their big thing is, what I've read here recently in the last couple of weeks, is that they don't want their models being used to basically take out individuals, right? Be used for the expiration of life, basically. But the way I look at it is, you're providing a service or a software. You could also think of it as, say, a company that creates laptops, computers, right? Could they come out and say, well, we don't want our systems and services to be used for X, right? If it's legal, I think it's okay, right? Obviously, the government is doing things, maybe sometimes we think that's not legal, but for the most part, right, they're done for legal reasons. So I kind of disagree with Claude on that and Anthropic. I think that if it's being done legally, then whatever the end use case of it might be, if it is to extinguish light from a human there, I think that's within the realms of what it's available for. I think. I could be wrong. You know, if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. Obviously, Pentagon is also threatening to blacklist Anthropic because of that. And Elon walks into it with base Grok 4.2, deal signed, it's happening. So yeah, I mean, Elon is all about free speech, all about, make it available to adults, and you can do adult things on it instead of kind of watering it down for everybody. So children don't have access to it, right? Things like that. I think there should be a tier for adults and obviously a tier for children as well. We don't obviously want to have children getting into stuff that they shouldn't get into, which I'm all good for, but you still need to have things that are available for adults. That's just my take. Could be wrong, but that's just my take on that. Next here, we got ASML today unveiled a new EUV light source advance that could yield 50% more chips by 2030. If you haven't ever seen a video of how these things are made, there's a bunch of great videos on YouTube. This is a marvel of technology and the way it works. It's a marvel. There's plenty of videos out there. You can take a look at it. It is not terribly. It is superly interesting if you get into it, really. The amount of technology that goes into it, the science, the mathematics, everything else that goes into it, it is just outstanding. And yeah, they kind of have the market cornered on that stuff for the most part because their systems are the best here. And if they can improve that speed of making the chips by 50%, that's huge, right? Because we've heard from Elon Musk, we've heard from others as well, that not only will chips become a constraint going forward, but also as power will be as well. So this is very, very good news here going forward for everybody, to be honest, for anything. I mean, pretty much everything has now a chip in it. From your car key even has a chip in it. Everything has a chip in it for the most part nowadays. And we need a heck of a lot more chips. This is obviously great news here from IREN here. Vertical integration sets IREN's AI cloud platform apart. Construction discipline is what makes it possible. In British Columbia, Texas, and soon Oklahoma, we're building the future of AI infrastructure end-to-end, from grid-connected power to data centers to compute. I'm not going to play the video. You guys can definitely take a look at it. It's a great video. They talk about at the end there, their Oklahoma site, how that is progressing as well. And the other thing that we noticed was on the website, they changed their development for Oklahoma site from under construction, I think it was, which I think that might have been just a mistake on their original publishing of that, because in development is you're still working on getting permits, things like that. In construction is when you're actually doing stuff into it. which we have that at Sweetwater now. So Sweetwater is actually in the phase of construction right now. So they're building stuff out there, getting ready for energization, getting the that's not sub panel, but the what's it called? Sub interconnect connected to the power there. And they're going to be able to start building possibly data sites there later on this year into next year as well. So that's happening there. So that's great news there. And then lastly, here we got Northland Securities increases their price target on Nibius from $211 to $232. We talked about Nibius yesterday. And that one did a deep dive on it. And yeah, I think that one is also still undervalued from where it probably should be, at least a 2x, in my opinion, right now. But yeah, they definitely should go up higher along with the likes of IREN, Cipher, and others that we talk about here as well. Okay, so there's that. We have a quick news story on CORZ Scientific. CORZ is going to be holding their end of year quarterly results here on Monday, March 2nd. Management will host a live conference at the time of 3:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll obviously talk about it, cover it when it does happen at that point. And then here is the details we have on Canaan acquiring Cipher's mining interest in multiple operational mining projects, totaling 4.4 exahash in West Texas. So today they announced that it has acquired Cipher's mining technologies, 49% equity interest in the joint venture comprising of Alborz, Bear, and Chief Mountain, the ABC projects they're calling. Following the acquisition, the company now owns 49% stake in the ABC projects, while Wind HQ LLC maintains its 51% stake in the ABC projects. The sites currently operate a total of 120 megawatts of power capacity and support 4.4 exahash of total operating hash rate. Fleet efficiency currently stands at 25.7 joules per terahash. So those are probably like maybe a generation behind on the mining side of things, on the ASICs. With the potential for hardware and infrastructure upgrades, right? Because we're seeing obviously hardware now that's at 13 joules per terahash and even sub that. So they definitely can upgrade that if they want to. But I was never a big fan of Cipher or anybody else doing these kind of joint ventures unless they actually own the majority stake on it, which they didn't. Because it muddies the water when it comes to reporting. It gets reported under something else. Revenues can be reported on it from it. So it does make it a little bit more tricky. And I'm happy that they're actually divesting themselves of these joint ventures here, Alborz, Bear, and Chief. I'm happy about it. I think this is great news. This can obviously signify also to the markets here that they're getting out of Bitcoin mining and going more into being a AI data center provider going forward. That should possibly help with getting the stock re-rated as well, possibly going up higher in value too as well. Okay. Let's see here. As part of the transaction, the company also purchased an additional 6,840 Canaan Avalon A15 Pro AVGT 221T mining rigs from separate. But these naming conventions on some of these ASIC miners are just nuts. The mining rigs were originally purchased from Canaan in July 2025 and energized at the Cipher's Black Pearl site, which is being converted into an AI HPC data center. So obviously they have no need for those. So Avalon's buying those back. Total consideration of the transaction is approximately $39.75 million. So not a lot, but definitely some change there to help operations, to pay staff, things like that. To preserve the company's financial flexibility, the transaction was funded through the issuance of 806 million Canaan Inc. Class A ordinary shares to Cipher, equivalent to 53.7 million American Depositary Shares, ADS, priced at 73 cents per share or per ADS, and subject to a lockup period of 6 months there. So don't really love that part of the deal because it does make Cipher have to wait 6 months to get basically if they wanted to sell the shares there, they have to wait that long. On the plus side, if Canaan goes up in value because maybe Bitcoin goes up in value as well, that would be even possibly valued more. So instead of being maybe 39 million, it could be, double that, depending where Canaan stock price goes, where does Bitcoin go, right? All those things. So it could actually work out in their favor. On the downside, if the shares go down, unless it's going to be that within 6 months, if the shares are not at the same price or better, then they have to give them more shares or something like that, then that might be okay. But that's a long time. 6 months is a long time. That's like a century in Bitcoin here. So there's that. And then obviously we got the strategic highlights for Canaan there. You guys are more than welcome to read that as well. But I think that's it. This is basically all that's going on here right now. Got nothing else as far as news from the miners or anything like that. So we'll get into Q&A here. I don't see a lot of questions here, so we're going to call it pretty fast show today. We're going on 20 minutes as it is right now. We're looking good. All right, let's get into Q&A. Let's see what you guys have to say. and then we'll call it a day. Summer says, I was in the green today, which means I'll be 10% red tomorrow. That might be the case, maybe not. We'll have to wait. But I was also in the red today, or in the green today, which was nice. But yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. Let's see. Milig says, I always like it when you show the current Bitcoin price. Well, thank you very much for that. Yeah. Let's see. John says, I've continued to increase my CAH position. I'm not sure who that is. XB, hey there to you as well. Ron, hey Seb, do you think the Bitcoin bottom will be the 200 weekly MA, currently at 58,000, seems to bounce off of it in the past? It could be. That's one of them. Obviously, the one that we talked about today is also the cost of mining Bitcoin, right? That price point also helps. So we got a couple of things here that are kind of pointing to that direction, that might be the bottom here that we're getting close to. Let me see here. Last time, what did we dip down to in Bitcoin here before bouncing back up here? Where was that at? It was here recently. If we look at it here, we did dip, it was just down to 60,000 was the low on it. Yeah, so we're slightly just above that there, right? 58,000, if that's the 200 MA or weekly MA. Then let's take a look at the weekly here, if we can see that. Weekly here, oh yeah, it's just right around there. So depending where Bitcoin goes in the next couple of days, weeks, right, that 200 weekly might increase a little bit here to where we get to like 59, 60,000. That might be the bottom. But it'd be nice to see if we can get a wick down, kind of like we saw here. Just a wick down, touch that 200 SMA, and then bounce off of it. That'll be great. I mean, you can see the RSI on the weekly here is way oversold. Last time we were this low was going back to 2022, right? That was part of the pandemic crash there that we saw. And then prior to that, we weren't this low on the weekly RSI, well, at least never on this time frame. So we got to be getting really, really close to the bottom here if we haven't already bottomed out. And this is just like a little double tap to see if we can actually get a little bit lower here, right? But yeah, that's kind of my thinking on it right now. We'll see if that's the case in a couple of weeks. All right, let's go back to the Q&A. Okay, talked about that. All right, John, sorry, as I know this is off topic, but an emergency is happening. What emergency? Daryl, in Antigua, drunk, go IREN, okay. Seb, how does one know an old BTC what dumped that $1.24 billion worth? How does one know an old Bitcoin? Oh, well, you can track the wallet, right? So you can see all the history of it. You can all go back to when it first popped up, basically. All right. John says, let's see, the MSCI inclusion for IREN today helped send it higher. Oh, that was today. That's right. For some reason, I was thinking this was towards later on in the month here. Neil says, to the moon, is it a good time to buy Canaan stock? I don't know. I've been kind of bearish on Canaan for a while there. I know that they have their own ASICs that they're building, manufacturing those. Those are selling okay, right? We've seen companies buying those. I think those are probably even selling better than what BitDeer is selling right now. But the other aspects of the business there, I know that they have some mining of themselves. A lot of the stuff is also hosted, I believe. So it's kind of a tough business to be in there right now. I know that they've also mentioned that they want to get into AI data centers possibly. But yeah, I just don't know. I just don't have the warm fuzzy feeling for Canaan right now. You know, still could bounce like it did before. SKS question: do you see Bitcoin going below 60? I think 60, like 58,000, is kind of where I would draw the line at that point. I think that might be the bottom based on just what we're seeing here. Could be wrong, but that's kind of where I'm seeing things. SK also has this Canaan buy at this price. Let's take a look at Canaan. If we take a look at Canaan, I think I got it in here someplace. I got Kango. Do I have it down here? I thought I did. Maybe I don't. Let's see. Let me pull it up here really quick. We'll take a look at it. See where it's at right now. Canaan. There it is, NASDAQ. Let's take a look. Go to symbol. I do have it down here. Where is it at? Canaan, there it is. Small miners. All right. I mean, obviously, this is the lowest it's been, well, since it let's see, this is still loading here. I mean, this is going back to 2019. This is the lowest it's ever been. We have to look into their financials, see how they're doing all that stuff here. But I mean, yeah, it's getting pretty close to the bottom. It has bottomed out. It's not getting close to the bottom. It has bottomed out. And I don't see any stock splits or anything like that here, at least historically, right now on it. And that's on the weekly, the daily. Yeah, I mean, I would be cautious here. I would start maybe dollar cost averaging into it. Don't put a lot into it, but not financial advice as always. This might be, I mean, it has gone up to $3 here recently in the past, what's it been, year and 2 months or so, something like that, right? December of 24, it got to $3. This past year, it got to $2.19. So if you can still bounce back up to those levels here, I mean, you're looking at a nice, easy 5x potentially on it, if it does actually bounce. But I mean, the way we're looking at the chart here, this thing has just been continuing to go down here, so I don't know if it can get back up to those, even that level. We had see here 23, we were close to $3 as well. Yeah, we've been just coming down on this one. I'm not sure. Bitcoin would definitely have to rally nice for it to go up nicely. So if you think Bitcoin's going to rally, they will probably rally as well. But not financial advice. All right. SK question: will Cipher beat earnings tomorrow? No. I believe all the revenue is still from Bitcoin mining. So Bitcoin price has been going down in Q4, which results in them mining less. So I doubt it. I don't think they will beat earnings. All right. Sarah says, I thought the inclusion was the 27th for it. I thought so too. I thought it was like towards the end of the month there, unless it got added faster. Neil says, I was in Panama in Central America, and I saw a money exchange with a Bitcoin symbol. Nice. Yeah, I mean, a lot of those countries are using Bitcoin, adopting Bitcoin, things like that. So it is happening, probably more so than we see it out here. All right, that's it. We'll see what Cipher reports tomorrow. Obviously, that's coming up tomorrow. That'll be interesting to see. I'm not really concerned about the earnings there. I'm more concerned about what is their path going forward. What kind of guidance do they provide us? Where are the status on the build-outs for the contracts that they do have in place now? That's more important to me going forward for them as they build out their data centers and increase their megawatts. All of those things are much more important to me than the current earnings, which I know are going to be bad. Question for them would be also, what are they going to be doing with Bitcoin? Are they going to continue to hodl that? Or will they eventually sell out of that as well, since they're obviously selling out some of their JVs? But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. We'll see. We'll obviously see at that point. Looking at the comments there, I don't see anything else. Neil redacted his or deleted his, so I don't think there's anything else. So we'll talk about whatever happens tomorrow. In the meantime, I hope you guys have a great night. Love you all. Thank you so much for coming in as always. Eventually, we will get out of this slump here that we are in and be much better off in next couple of quarters, I'm guessing. That's still my belief. We'll see if that belief holds true, though. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. See ya. Bye.